All right, we're gonna be hitting about 3 systems in this episode. I just want to kind of like, at least keep some progress kind of going on this series. It's not a huge focus right now, but I think that as long as I can get it right now, like 10 or so systems a week, then that's kind of decent enough. A lot of when I really start like focusing down on this series, I'll probably end up doing like 100 systems a week. But until then, just kind of slow and steady. But I have a 3 system route kind of set up. So we're going to hit this system. I'm going to try to spend about 3 minutes in each system. So the goal is to have a full prospect by the end of it. And then we can put these in the spreadsheet and be 3 systems closer to the high set goal. Another big reason why I haven't really been focusing too heavy on this challenge right now is because I'm really trying to figure out a way to differentiate this from solo mining. And also, I guess we'll talk about one question I saw on the last video, which they asked if I'm in a system that has ice, do I plan on mining the ice over the ore, or is it strictly ore for the challenge? I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. Mining ice in systems that have ice is a good idea, but the challenge isn't really necessarily about ore itself. It's really about the act of mining in every system. And this fit is probably going to get simplified when I really start to grind things out. Right now we're carrying crystals for simple, and these will probably actually get switched to just regular miner 2s. And then I'll probably drop one of these upgrades for a warp core stab. And probably actually most of these mining laser upgrades will be replaced, probably like a nerd stab, warp stab, things like that, because we don't really want to be, I don't really want to be carrying crystals around with me when we start really kind of going out in the boonies, as it were. And then also when we get to the point where we're starting to branch out into like low sec and null sec, the inertial stabilizers and the warp core stab 2 will help in that regard. So the fit will be simplified for the most part, and the focus will be off of mining itself. As far as yield goes, not really a big yield thing. We're orbiting right now, just chilling. The system's pretty chill right now. We've got 18 in local, including myself. D-scan just shows ospreys, a lot of ventures, some hornets. So we've got quite a bit of activity going on, but nothing too crazy, nothing to worry about necessarily. So we'll probably do like 4 minutes in the system, try to get at least this other cycle here done, and then hopefully kind of, like I said, I want to try to get the prospect full by the 3rd system, just so we have a little bit going on. We're going Veldspar. We still need like 6 million trit for the industry tune, so I figured I'd get these 3 systems done. It's still early Monday morning, so I figured before I get into anything too complex or crazy, doing a nomadic episode is probably a good start to the week and everything. I'm also going to be working on some logistics and stuff today, and just kind of moving some assets around, maybe like liquidating some stuff, kind of always just doing logistics, which I think is one of the big draws for me on this challenge, this like series. It allows me to just take one ship, no implants, a prospect, that's it, and just kind of go off and like have a goal to do something. So it's a little slow out the gate for it. I mean, we still have over 1,000 high sec systems to hit, so definitely have our work cut out for us. But what's nice is, like, as I kind of move through space, I kind of just I can plan these 3 or more system kind of routes and take care of it. I was gonna like go as far as working each constellation and then moving on, but I think that would be a little too crazy. I might just like, if I'm in a system and it's not on the list, I'll mine in it, put it on the list, and then when we really have to start filling in gaps, I'll probably start at the top of the list and just work down alphabetically for the most part. All right, we're about done here. All right, that put us about halfway, almost halfway, so we can get to this next system and do it again. I'm gonna put in all systems after I get done recording the video. I have them written down, the ones we're going to. It's just easier to do it that way, and I have to scroll through a pretty crazy list. Like having that system list is, and maintaining that is kind of a chore. Go and jump through here, see what's going on in this other system here. Now normally what I do is when I go into a new system, especially for mining, I'm looking for several things right off the bat before I drop gate cloak. So I'm looking at local. We got 16 in local. I usually do a D scan. It looks about the same, Hornet, Ospreys, some Caracals. And then I also look, if there's combat ships, I'm looking at like the probe scanner. It's like, well, if there's combat ships, are they out there actually doing some stuff? So yeah, there are some combat anomalies out there, so that kind of tracks. If you go into a system that doesn't have any combat anomalies, but you have to see a lot of combat ships in space, then think about that a little bit. It's not necessarily a red flag. It's just maybe they're waiting for new spawns. You never know. All right, let's see. Just go randomly. Go in here. The goal is just to actually get here and get a cycle done. We might do one cycle here, I think, and then we'll finish off the prospect in the last system here. Go and start orbiting this rock, and we'll get our lasers on. There's also just a good motivating way, or a good motivation to kind of explore a lot. I do enjoy exploration, and exploration plus mining is also very intriguing as well. So we see Praxis, we see some Ventures, Scorpion. So, nothing too crazy out there. Like I said, 18, 17 now in local. And that includes myself. So we'll hit this one and then the last one. Now, about 144 seconds per cycle here. So I was trying to shoot for like 8 minutes on these episodes. Yeah, but when I do like multiple systems like this, between like the travel and getting into position on the rock and then doing 144 seconds for a cycle, they tend to run a little bit longer than that. So I think I don't always want to do like 3 systems per, but when we have a good route like this where it's just like we can go one system after another really efficiently, then it's great. The challenge will get more difficult as we get fewer systems, and the system we need are going to be spread out. I've been working a lot in Caldari space, just trying to do as much there before branching out into other areas, other regions of HiSec, because I figure it's going to be, we're going to get to a point where you might be traveling multiple jumps just to get to a system that we have not done yet, and that's expected. All right, let's get this afterburner off. We don't have any rats to worry about. And that's what's another thing too, is if I go to an asteroid belt that there are rats, then yeah, I'm just going to orbit with the prop mod on and just tank that damage. It won't be a lot because this is HiSec and they're frigates, so not a whole lot to worry about there. Kind of size this window down a little bit, kind of clean up the view. I've been spending a lot of time in the prospect lately, and it's just, I slept on the expeditionary frigates for many, many years when I was still doing, big solo fleet mining, Orca or Rorqual with hulks. Like, I just never used the prospect endurance in those situations when I was in nullsec alliances and things like that, where the ops were essentially max yield and all that stuff. But all right, that is one cycle. Let's go and move on to the last system. But since I broke out into being like strictly exclusively solo, I've definitely found a love for these ships. All right, last system, and we should get a cycle and some change from this system, which is kind of the goal. I do want to like work on trying to fill out this ship during these episodes. All right, we got 29 local, including myself. We've got some combat anomalies, tractor units, some caracals. This one is a little bit lower security as well, so this is a 0.6, and we were in like a 0.8, so naturally it's going to be a little bit more busy and whatnot. But that's fine. We just need to do a little bit more, and we'll be good to go. And that's going to be another thing that's going to come into play as we get further into the series and start going to a little bit more sketchier areas. The goal, the challenge, dictates that we need to do at least one cycle in the system for it to count. So while we're in like high sec and stuff like that, we can do like multiple cycles, because we don't really have much to worry about when we start doing like low sec. If we expand the series into low sec and null sec, wormhole space, Poshman, things like that, then we're strictly going to be like going in for one cycle and then moving on, right? Not wanting to stay in place for too long. And in those situations, we'll probably still be doing like 3 systems or so, go through like a low sec pathway, and there'll be some high sec systems that we won't be able to get to unless we go through low sec. And so before we actually get all of the high sec done with the challenge, we will probably have some low sec systems under our belt, because if we are going to pass through a low sec system to get to like a high sec island, there's no reason why we shouldn't just mine in that low sec system while we're there. That means that when we start going through the low sec list, that's one system that we don't have to worry about in the future. Turn this prop mod off, and now we're just chilling. Now we just can wait until we fill up this prospect, and that'll be good to go for the 17th episode of Nomadic Mining. It's just getting this challenge off the ground has been challenging, mostly because it's a lot to do. It's a big task. So, and I think the nomadic part will come a lot more into play when we have to start really going out of our way to find systems and to mine in, and even more so when we start going into nullsec and we start going into wormhole space, where we will have to, when we go into wormhole space, we're probably going to be using a endurance, because we'll have the probe scanner, and we might just stay in wormhole space and just go chaining, go all the way down the chain, and get as many of those systems done as possible. So that's going to be really feels nomadic in nature. Right now we're kind of working those Caldari constellations and kind of working outward, because they have to be done, and then we'll branch off into like Galante space and Amar space and things like that. And then we'll be on the fringes. We'll be on all those, looking at all those high sec island that are surrounded by low sec, and stuff like that. All right, about to complete first cycle in this system, and then the system will be officially done. So we got a little bit left, 12.3 of 12.5. So we'll let the miners run for a couple more seconds, and then we'll get that prospect as full prompt, and then that'll be it for the video. So let me know in the comments, any suggestions you have. Obviously, I'm still looking for ways to, like I said, differentiate this from solo mining, or make this a little bit more interesting, because we do have a lot of systems to go through. So I'm always looking for feedback on everything. So your comments and everything like that are welcome and stuff. So that is a full prospect. We are done with these 3 systems, and until next time, fly safe.